Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. We are pleased to be joined by Pete VanKempen of the head boys basketball coach at Coopersville High School. How's it going?
It's going great, Casey. How you doing?
Doing well. Let's first talk about that big win you had last night. What was it like to get a win like that?
Um, I don't know. I think for our kids, it's great. I think I've coached a long time, and we've won some big games in different situations. But for us, I think for our coaching staff and our kids, it was a really good win just because of we're on the road. We've been on the road for a while now. It feels like I think for like 4 straight weeks, 5 games and 6 games, and for us to figure out a way to win at Unity Christian, which in our league nobody's done in 3 years, actually won at all against Unity Christian, was a very big deal, and just proud of our kids and how we competed.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the guys that have really kind of stood out for you this year for your team.
Yeah, so we have about a 6'5" wing. Mark DeVries is his name. He's a senior. He's been on the team for uh, he's been on the team full time for 2 years, 2.5 years, kind of up and on his sophomore year. He really is probably one of the best defenders I've ever coached. Long, athletic, quick off his feet. Um, I think he's averaging about 11 points a game. He's been up to a pretty bad shooting start for him. He's a good shooter. He's just not making his open threes, but otherwise he scored. He had 16 last night for us. Good free throw shooter. Our second, I would say, our next 2A and 2B, Porter Kretschmann and Eli Spencer, both juniors, two lefties, incidentally. Eli's about a 5'11" guard. Really good shooter, figuring out how to be the guy in charge of the team. Spent a little bit of a learning curve for him that way. Loves the game. And Porter is about a 6'2" wing, really bouncy. Very good. He's one of those kids that can be in the air a long time, which is a real benefit when you get around the rim. And he was hurt early in the year. He didn't play much in our first few games. And so we've kind of missed that athleticism at the rim. Those are probably they've been our top three scorers the last 2 games. Probably our best three players. I don't know how many you want me to go into. Our
You can go into as many as you want. So.
I guess senior leader Mason Thomasma has been on our team. This is his second year. He was a backup guard last year. It's just a totally selfless player. Doesn't turn the ball over much, which is kind of nice in our team because we tend to chuck it around a little bit. And last night made some really big plays down the stretch in overtime. Made some big free throws to kind of ice the game. Made 3 out of 4 late in the second overtime. And just a great kid. And then our fifth spot's been kind of a rotation. We've kind of settled on our junior, Gabe Van Sickle. Gabe is a 6'4", 280-pound young man. And he is a big-time division. I think he's a Division I Big Ten football player. Really laterally fast. One of our fastest kids in our team at 6'4", 280. I don't think he's even 280. He might be bigger than that. But he's been really playing well. He's a kid that plays basketball during basketball season. We're happy to have him, but he's just such a great teammate. And he takes up a lot of space in the paint. It's hard to get to the rim against us.
All right. So let's kind of talk about, of course, the division. The OK Conference is the toughest conference, one of the toughest conferences in the state of Michigan. But what's it like, getting? Talk about your division for a second. Just how do you think the division's going to look this year? And you've kind of seen it going into Unity Christian winning there. But how do you think the division's going to look this year so far?
Well, balanced. I think last year this was true. Unity Christian ended up winning every game they played.
Yeah.
I think we lost to them both times, and I think the first time we got beat pretty good. The second time we were down a couple with a few minutes to go and lost at their place. And but other than that, it's extraordinarily balanced. And yeah, I've been in the OK now since I started coaching, and I think the OK is just there's just every league has really, really, really good teams. Every division has really good teams. We have, I think, our division has some really good teams that are very old. We have a few senior dominated teams. Fruitport, Hamilton are senior dominated teams. Um, and Spring Lake is a good basketball team. Uh, you can go right down the line. I think it's competitive every night. There's no game I don't think we're going to look at and go, well, we're going to win by a lot or lose by a lot. And that's great for fans and not so great for coaches. But it's very competitive. Great coaches in our league. Fantastic coaches, top to bottom, guys that have been around, like Scott Suitsma at Unity Christian, 30 years. Joe Moderman, 10 or 12 years in Allendale, maybe more than that, 15. And it's just Bill Core at Spring Lake has won 300 games. So there's just no easy nights.
No. And just also kind of talking about, you know, these kind of preview your next few games, and also where do you want to see what do you want to see your team at in these next few weeks?
Well, it's funny you ask me that because I really don't know who we play after tomorrow, after Friday. I know it sounds, but it's not that I always do that. I just don't remember. I could look it up. I'm pretty sure we have a league, so we have our first round of league coming up. So I'll talk about that. We get to play home 3 games in a row. We haven't been home. Played our first game at home, and we haven't been home since. So what are we now? 3-5 overall. So we've had 7 road games. Won a big one at Forest Hills Northern. I think it'll turn out to be a really good win for us. Lost some tight ones in the Zeeland tournament, and again, of course, last night's game. So we're playing 3 home games here against Fruitport, who's leading our league right now. Very good team, all seniors. They've been building this team for years. Then I think we have West Catholic after that at home, and I know we have Allendale a week from Friday, which is a big rivalry game. That is an anybody can win game, no matter what the records are, no matter who's playing. And so our next 3 games will be and then we go to Holland Christian on a Tuesday, who's been playing very well, and then I think we finish with then Hamilton, who
Yeah.
everybody in our league thinks is one of the best teams in the area. I know they lost last night, but they're a good basketball team, a lot of good players, so it's competitive. It'll be fun.
All right. Well, Pete, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us, and best of luck to you guys in the rest of the season.
All right, Casey, thank you.